Anyone out there struggling to get bookings? Anyone desperately needing bookings? That was me 6 months ago. I was struggling to get bookings. I'd like to share with you 3 principles that I've put into practice in my personal business that's helped me triple my bookings and triple my sales over the last 6 months. These 3 principles are really pretty basic. However, until I really started evaluating myself personally, I wasn't aware that I had these destructive habits that were hindering my business. The first principle has to do with confidence. I very quickly noticed that I was coming across desperate. Obviously, I was desperate because I needed bookings in the worst way. Desperate is never attractive on anyone. Desperate does not attract people to you. And desperate does not draw women to you, nor cause them to want to book a show with you. When we're desperate, we're not fun, we're not relaxed, and we're not focused. I was practically on my hands and knees begging ladies to book a show with me at checkout. Even though I could see the pity in their eyes, they'd still tell me no. This was a very challenging obstacle for me to overcome. I knew I was desperate, but I had to convince everyone else that I was not. The first step to do this was to exude confidence. When I walked in the show, I told myself, everyone wants to book with me. As I would make small talk with the guests prior to the show, I'd try to interact with them like we were longtime friends. I would make the conversation very light, not necessarily about jewelry or my business. I made sure the atmosphere was relaxed and had fun throughout the entire showing. At the show, my focus shifted from what I needed or wanted to what I could do for them. At checkout, when I offered the chance for them to book a show, it was about how it would benefit them and the current hostess. People will want to continue being around you if you're confident, if you're fun and relaxed and focused on others, not on yourself. The second principle was basically reminding myself about a fact that I had forgotten, which is this: the most important place to obtain bookings is at the showing. Now remember, I was desperate, so desperate that sometimes I just couldn't bear to hear the words no again. So many times, I wouldn't even ask anyone to book a show. I just tell myself, it's okay. When I get home, I'll message someone on Facebook, or perhaps I'll go through my maybe later list again. The problem with that is I hated to make cold calls or even ask ladies outside the show to book. I was setting myself up for a huge disaster. Let me tell you why it's easiest to book at the showing. And there are a few reasons. First, the ladies there are physically holding something they now want. They've grown attached to that necklace since you placed it on their neck. You now have the power to show them that they can have it for free or discounted. That makes it really hard for them to say no. Second, you've made them laugh and you've shown them a great time. And because of this, they're going to want the party to continue on. For example, I use funny money. This gets my guests really involved immediately, and I start off with my purse or money. I got a lot of money because they pay me good at Park Lane. And in the beginning, I'll pay them to introduce themselves and tell me what they do with an extra $200 a week. Then throughout the show, I pay them when they ask me questions like, what's the company's guarantee? I also pay them when they answer my questions like, who knows why we should wear long necklaces? Or why do we wear an arm party? Towards the end, I do a question speed round and where they get paid to fire questions at me about my job. This offers a little healthy conversation between all the guests, and competition, because at the end, winner gets a prize. I even have an opportunity for them to earn the funny money before when they respond on the post that I do on Facebook pre-show. I create it. Lastly, friends help friends. When you explain to them about how doing a show is going to give their friend a free shopping spree, they're more likely to pick a date on your calendar. The third principle that I knew I had to fix in my business was a major shift in the objectives at my show. Most of us do shows for what? Money, right? Which means we need sales, right? For me, I really had to decide to shift my focus from selling to booking. This was probably the hardest one for me because from the moment that I got to my showing, my mind would begin multiplying the number of guests times the average order total times my commission, which hopefully equaled to pay my car payment. It was very exhausting. I had to stop that, and I had to focus on how much jewelry I could give away to each person there, which meant getting them to book. It sometimes meant they may or may not give me a huge order because often they save the big stuff for their own show. This required a huge step of faith for me, but I soon realized that if I had bookings, I was going to make income eventually. And if I didn't get the bookings that night, that income would be ending right then anyways. Once I implemented all three of these principles into my business, I truly saw an increase in the bookings, which caused an increase in my sales, which caused an increase in my paychecks. Before I go, I'd like to share some booking tips that I use at my showings. Number 1, I always encourage my hostess to obtain pre-arranged bookings. I place 3 stars on the hostess envelope and ask her who she'd like to give $100 to. I help her understand that her friend's booking is worth more in jewelry credit than their orders are, and that by obtaining bookings, it's the fastest way to build that hostess reward credit. Number 2, when I'm posting on the Facebook event prior to the show, I'll throw out an extra prize if they contact me before the show to pick a date. I'll even ask the host to tag some guests under it. It helps me keep my calendar really well balanced to do this. Number 3, when I arrive at the show, I always ask the host right before the show to give me names of the ladies that would make a good hostess, so I can keep an eye on them. For instance, I'll pay close attention to the pieces they like or certain interests they have, things that I can use later on to help secure the booking. Number 4, I acknowledge that the items that are thank yous are host only during my fashion show section of the show. I do this mentioning the host price when I'm placing them on the models or calling the hostess up and dressing her in thank you or hostess only pieces. Ladies love a discount. Number 5, I use the Fast 50s as a visual, and I pass them out as I explain how the 5th star works on our hostess program. Let me show you. Here's an example. So I've mentally already chosen like 3 ladies that I want to book. They're fun, they're outgoing, they're crazy about the jewelry, and I'll hand the first gal and I'll say something, now when you do your showing, I'm gonna give you $50, and guess what? I'm gonna give the host $50. Then I go to the second gal and I say, now when you do your showing, I'm gonna give you $50 too. And Park Lane's gonna give the hostess $50. Then I go to the third one and I go, you're extra special, and everybody gets jealous and moans. And they're like, oh, and I'm like, you're special because I'm gonna give you $50 when you do your show, but guess what? Company's gonna give our hostess $100 more and an exclusive ring. Number 6, I ask every single person when they would like to schedule their own showing. I keep it really lighthearted and I smile. Remember, I'm not asking them for a kidney, just to have some friends over for a good time. I might say, would you like to help Susie earn a second shopping spree? Remember, friends will help friends. Show them that they're doing it for her, not for you. Number 7, it's so important to drop booking seeds during the show and prior to checkout. Some people are thinkers, and they need to process it before they say yes to you. Here are a couple of my favorites. Wow, I'd love to give you that necklace. It's one of my favorites, and it would be free for you. Did you know that that bracelet's only $19 at your styling session? You're so stylish, I must come style you and your friends with my jewelry. Number 8, if they say no. Yes, sometimes they will. Remember that no doesn't mean never, just not right now. So insist that they join your VIP Facebook group right then. Why? Once I've met and connected with them, I want to keep them as a customer and a hostess forever, not just for that brief moment. Your VIP group can help you continue to build that relationship with them. When you build a relationship with them, it will create future bookings. Sometimes guests need to see a post multiple times about the hostess perks before they take the plunge and book. Here's an example of one. It may take a while, but keep planting those seeds, building that relationship and friendship with them. Don't give up. Most importantly, your VIP Facebook group should not look like a Bath & Body business page. All sales. It needs to be personal. Make your guests feel like they're part of something special, like a fashion group. Post daily. Not always about sales and bookings. Post about things that will cultivate a long-term relationship with them. Today, I am no longer just interested in getting that order. I want to build a relationship with my clients. I'm so excited for you guys to try these principles in your business. Remember how important it is to stay confident when you're at your showings. Focus on getting those bookings while you're there. And the best way to obtain them is by shifting your focus onto the guest and not your needs. Lastly, trusting that if you'll keep your focus on bookings and not always selling, that in the end, you will see that increase in your sales and your business overall. Always remember, everyone wants to book with you. So book like a gold medalist, ladies. Good luck. Thank you.